that was hugely predictive of a car being a bad car. Okay? What does that mean?
If that variable was missing from your model, you were losing a significant amount of influence.
Well, I mean,
whoever was hand jamming the data into the spreadsheet knew if it was bad, I'm not even gonna bother filling in the wheel type.
okay? So you're saying like that whoever was filling in the data was like, this car is a clunker anyway. I'm not gonna bother with it. I mean, but if that was true, wouldn't we see this relationship with lots of variables that were missing, right?
It's only like 70% of expert at doing this stuff.
Okay. Rosalind?
Is it that the missing data is more significant than the data that we actually have, which means that overall wheel type is probably not helpful, even though it seems predictive in the model?
Well, okay, so you're right that it turns out it doesn't matter whether or not they have alloy or cover wheels when we're talking about bad buy. It's really that missing is the thing that's indicative of it being a bad buy. But the question is, what about missing makes it likely to be a bad buy?
I think it's hard to say.
Okay.
I think maybe if you were around the industry more, you kind of knew how that data got entered into it. Maybe there's a story behind there, but I think it's hard to say from just looking at it at the level we are.
Okay. Mark?
Just a guess for me. I mean, when it says alloy or covers, is that saying what the car should have, or is it saying what you have a car now? Because no, say like a car like should have alloys, but it's partially disassembled or something like that. Would that still have alloys, or would that be marked as null? Because I'm kind of thinking maybe null means that the car is in some state of disrepair to begin with. I just don't know why they would buy that, or what, how that data is coded, I guess.
So you're saying that if we don't know what the wheel type is, it's because the car doesn't have wheels?
Maybe. If that's the case, that would explain it.
It would explain it.
Maybe if it's just information that's missing. I mean, we noticed that there were like particular buyers that had bad buys, so maybe if they're bad buyers, they didn't fill out important things. I don't know, just.
But the buyers aren't the ones, it's the auction that's filling out this data, right? Or the auction gives you a sheet.
Yeah.
So we have a proposal that maybe it's because wheel type here means that the car doesn't have wheels.
Oh.
Andrew?
The seller may be omitting data that they think would be damning for their sale.
Okay. So they're potentially like, they know that they're going to say they have covers on their car, but
they just don't want to say that they have covers on their car or alloys on their car because they think you don't need to know that.
okay.
Just need to buy this thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Pat?
I think I'm going to choose the lazy option and say that those auctioneers that pay less attention to detail probably buy crappier cars. And so those lazy people probably don't bother to fill out things that they don't care about, like the wheels or things.
So remember, this data is from the sheets that the auction house provides, right?
Right, yep. So
So you're saying that there are, but wouldn't that suggest that there were auctions that were bad?
yes.
And I guess we only have 3 auction types in here. Maybe there are certain auctioneers that, like, I don't know how much control they have over that, but maybe so.
Yeah, so lack of data to me would mean that there's just people that are less attentive, and if they have anything to do with the cars that are listed or procuring the cars, then they're going to pay less attention to detail. And
But it is strange though that it's only wheel type. Everybody found wheel type missing to be the important one, not color missing, or not just random. If we'd randomly deleted fields, like or randomly missing fields, we didn't necessarily find as missing. I think I saw another hand somewhere, but it's okay. Other thoughts on why this missing matters?
Could have been that it wasn't an accident or
Okay.
something. And
So this is kind of back to Mark's,
Yep.
you know, maybe the car doesn't have wheels, for whatever reason. The truth is, we don't really know I don't know what this means. I've tried to figure it out, but I'm not sure. I'm genuinely not sure what wheel type missing means. But it is informative. And it does have implications for how we ultimately end up using this model.
Do you think it's a connection, just as a guess, between, say, the wheel type and the model and the trim? Like there's some connection between those three? When there's one that's missing, that would be indicative of a bad model, or bad buy?
Like in tracking terms?
It's certainly
Specific
possible.
Make and model, but have a specific wheel type. And if that data is missing, then may be indicative or predictor of a bad buy.
It's certainly possible. My guess is actually closer to Mark's, and this might be a bias because I grew up in rural Virginia where it's not uncommon to see cars up on blocks as you drive around. And so, that tends to be my guess, is that, these are cars that are in some state of disrepair such that they can't accurately report what wheel type they have. But that's a guess. But let's go with Mark's explanation, and let's say that the car is indeed a bad buy because it is missing its wheels. What if we go and give, so we got this model, it's working great, it's predicted things. But at the end of the day, who is going to consume the output of this model?
Carvana.
Oh, so Carvana is going to be using the model, but Carvana is not a person.
Oh.
A person is going to consume the output of this model. Who's going to consume the output of this model?
Carvana's customers.
Not directly, right? Carvana is using this to buy cars.
They're buyers.
They're buyers, right? So let's say we do something like we put it into a smartphone app or something, right? So they can automatically pull in auction data. They go through the lot, they click on, they type in the number of the car on the lot or whatever, pops up, buy or not buy. So you're a buyer, you've been with Carvana for a while buying cars. All of a sudden, they tell you got to carry this icon around when you're on the lot, and you got to type in these numbers and look for whether or not their model is going to predict whether a car is going to be a bad buy. So you walk up and you start going down the line, and every time you come to a car that doesn't have wheels, you type it in and it says, "Oh, this is a bad buy." What are you going to think as a car buyer?
Models.
What's that?
Personally, I would think the model's flawed. Just because the car doesn't have wheels doesn't mean the car's necessarily a bad buy.
Okay, so maybe there are some good cars without wheels. You don't have to put wheels on them at the very least, right?
Yeah.
But so maybe there are that could be one reaction. Anybody else have other thoughts on what you'd feel as the buyer? I mean, as one of these car buyers. Mark?
At the same time, it's very unlikely that the car is there with only missing wheels. Generally, missing wheels will be indicative of something else. It might have been in a crash. It might have needed some other work or had some other work done or something else that could lead, either had other repairs done or needs other repairs that could be indicative of potentially that car.
Okay. Harlan?
Yeah, I mean, just if I saw the car on the lot without wheels, I'd probably ask the question, why does it not have wheels in the first place?
Yeah.